Football Friday and Big Sills. How you doing? Yeah. How are you doing on a Football Friday and maybe the most important game of the year for the Eagles? How about this one? This is the third most important game. Fourth most important game in Jalen Hurts' career. The first playoff game versus Brady is one. The NFC Championship, the Super Bowl, and this one. If you feel froggy, you can add the Niner game. But would we be correct? Those are the biggest games in his career, right? This is a big one. This is one of those defining games. Do you know what a game like this does? It validates who he's beat this year, his MVP race. It kind of wipes some of the stink off that Niner game. And by the way, that'll be back in the mind. Always remember this, though. So the Eagles dropped that game. They won the NFC title game against them and killed their quarterback. Oh, you got us in the regular season? Congratulations to you. Hey, Senor, maybe I should redefine that. Maybe all the Cowboy games this year are important to his career and how we look at him and how people outside the Philly area look at him. And listen, don't go to the low-hanging fruit. I don't give a shit what anybody around the country thinks of him. Yes, you do. Because you want the kid to get the respect that he's earned. Yes, you do. I would want respect. Now, look, his peers, do they respect Jalen Hurts? Of course they do. Do people in Philly? Of course they do. Does the NFL? I don't know. How about the freaking NFL start to respect him? You know what I'm saying? That's what these kind of games do. Because you know what you do? You start knocking all these bowling pins down. And there's just nothing left to shit on the kid for. How you doing, Twiz? Twiz got that Niner logo up, man. Has to be a lost bet. Because that dude ain't putting a Niner logo up. Bosa figured out the blueprint. If I was Nick Bosa, I would shut my fucking mouth. Are you kidding me? 8 quarters of football and you've been owned in all 8 in the last 2 years. You might want to shut up, kid. Jalen Hurts. I think there's some truth to what he's saying, bad messenger. If you want to throw Fred Warner at me and he's barking, Fred ain't going to bark like that. You know why Nick is barking? Because he got destroyed. Okay? This guy talks like, you ever notice the guys who get killed against the Eagles talk the most? Michael Parsons, Nick Bosa, all the guys that get killed by Lane have to go out and make some kind of preposterous statement. Hey, Nick, of all the get this, if I were to rank the 49er guys who played great in that game Sunday, he wouldn't be in the top 10. I could probably give you 10 guys that played better than him. Shit, Greenlaw played better. Warner played better. Ayuk played better. Debo played better. Kittle played better. Trent Williams played better. Their 2 corners played better. Shit, their safeties played better. Where are you, Nick? Shit, Hardgrave played better. Where were you? Yeah, it hurts, man. He feels the blitz. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said, but he's the wrong messenger. Big Dom played better. Okay. Big Dom played better than Nick Bosa. That's funny. By the way, I got to say this, man. It's been a weird Eagle Cowboy week. That 49er shellacking, one of my grandfather's favorite words, shellacking, really put a stink on Eagle Cowboy week, did it not? Right? Right? I mean, put a pretty big stink on it. Wouldn't you say? I mean, here we are. Now we're ready. Gee, just in the nick of time. It's Football Friday. Thank you very little, but hey. And as I told you yesterday, this is going to be interesting. You know, I have gone back and forth on who I'm taking Sunday. I really have. I've gone back and forth. Oh, by the way, before we get into it and who I'm taking Sunday, the segment with my friend Tone will join us at 3:30. The greatness of Philly Godfather. Woo! What a big segment this is going to be. Eagle Cowboy Week. That'll be 5:30. And you, throughout the day, we appreciate that over the next couple hours here. Don't forget, on Saturday from 3:30 to 5:30, Big Sills will be in King of Prussia. Yes. Flights all taken care of. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll be there tomorrow. Bunch of people are showing up. We got Eagle tickets to give away for Christmas Day. Merchandise. I hope you stop by. 3:30 to 5:30 Eastern Time. That'll be in King of Prussia Hooters. Yes, sir, baby. Okay? Looking forward to it. Went to Hooters last night. Fantastic. Dallas Godfather. Okay? All right. Before I get into my takes for Sunday, let's see what you guys think. Just give me off the top here some scores for Sunday. What do you think? Sunday. High scoring, low scoring. Cowboys are favored by 3.5. And I think the number is 51.5. 30-24 Birds. 38-21 Birds. Philly 45, Dallas 28. Fairy Godmother was right last week. Eagles 34, Cowboys 30. Look at this. Here's the big question. Do we not agree? Do the Cowboys step up? And do the Eagles rebound? Who would you rather be? A team that's not known for stepping up? Or a team, is there any, watch this. Do you have question about this team rebounding this week? I don't really have any question about them rebounding mentally. I still have questions about them rebounding physically. Eagles 33, Dallas 30. 50-47 Dallas. High scoring, you think? Why is Boza talking shit about Hurts? Because everyone does. Haven't I? Guys, it's funny. I say it, people do it. And then you come back to Sills and you go, you were right. Very few people in the league respect the guy. I guarantee you this. All the big-time defensive guys don't respect Jalen Hurts because they don't think he can read offenses or defenses. They don't think he can. I've been telling you that since day one. It's not the way the offense is set up to be a progression reading. That's funny. I never thought about that. When you take the RPO out, he has to be more of a progression reader. And maybe that's why he's missed a ton of throws this year. And when I say a ton of throws, wide open dudes. Interesting. Dallas wins by 2 scores. Okay. Big Sills pick Eagles and Cowboys. Will the Cowboys step up? And will the Eagles respond? As we said, the numbers are 3.5. Cowboys are favored. It's 51.5 total number. At 24-25 kind of ball game somewhere in there. 26-25. like that. That's what they're looking at. Cowboys, they entered the ball game. Passing yards, 263. They're third in the league. Rushing yards, 117 or 11th. Combine that's pretty good. Points scored, they're first, 32-3, and they're great at home. Defense, passing yards, 181 against. It's fifth. Rushing, 12th, 106. Cowboys show Carter in December, then Stormy Daniels. Points allowed, 18-3. They're fourth. Dallas is 8-4 against the spread this year. Here are your birds. Passing yards, 235.7. They're 13th in passing. That number has slid down a lot. A lot of these numbers have slid down over the last couple weeks. Actually, if you look at it, the trend is that the team looks worn out. You know, it's funny. I heard somebody, I think it was either Tone or Rob, say something that I don't think enough people are giving the Birds credit for what they're doing right now and where they are coming off of a Super Bowl loss in a tough-ass season of football from a year ago to where they are at 10-2. Those guys are right. This is pretty remarkable. I mean, we've seen teams like the Rams and Bucks the last couple of years that went on a Super Bowl run. They fell apart the next year. They literally fell apart. Most teams fall apart. Attrition, player movement, re-signing, not re-signing. You get a different ball team every year. Would we not agree the Eagles 2023 is completely different than the Eagles 2022? This is a different team, isn't it? You guys are looking at the Birds. Some of you look at the Birds as being the same team. They're nowhere near the same team. You're nowhere near the same team. All you have, and by the way, that's not some gigantic epiphany, I hope, to some. Okay? You're just not the same team from last year. This is a completely different group of dudes. And what I mean by that is, yeah, but Sills, Lane, and Mulata, those guys are, I'm talking a 53 group. This is a team. Jalen Hurts, AJ, Devontae, Hassan, right. But as a group, completely different. It's the coordinator. You get it now. The whole thing is new. And for where they are, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, it's utterly remarkable where this football team is. 126 in rushing yards, 8th, which I think is pretty damn good too. Points scored, 27-4. 4th. Damn good. Your offense really isn't the issue. It's the way it operates. In my opinion, that's the issue here. Okay? It's the way it operates. Your defense, pass defense, 260. 0.3, it's 29th. It's, without question, your biggest problem right now is your pass defense. Your rush defense has come down also, 90.3. You were at one time in the 60s. Now you're 4th in rush defense. Points allowed, you're 24th, which is terrible. And you're averaging 24 points. Eagles are 7-3-2 versus the spread. Rebounding versus the Niners. Are you the better team? Yes. Are you the healthier team? No. Are you the more rested team? No. It's at home. It's division opponent. The Cowboys played you great at your place. I have the Cowboys winning 26-24 on Sunday versus the Birds. And then that sets that Seattle game up for even more of an importance. Now, I'm picking Dallas because I think they're in better shape. They're not better than San Francisco, and quite frankly, I don't think they're better than you. But I still think you're going through a ton of football, of high-level football. Do I think you're going to put a spectacular effort up? I do. I think you're going to look like the old Eagles. But again, here's where I go with this. When's the last time you swept them? What would make you think, coming off of an ass beating and all those hard and difficult games, that you're going to all of a sudden rebound because of heart and hustle and glory and all that other stuff, intangibles? What's that got to do with Sunday? Does that mean they'll play hard? I'm totally expecting them to put a fabulous effort up. Dallas is in better shape right now. This is about the war of attrition. Do I think Dallas can beat you in the playoffs? I do, but I don't think they're better than you. You got to here's where I think the Eagles rebound this year. When you got to play New York and Arizona at the end of the season, that's when you're going to be able to rest your players, and you're not going to you're going to be able to coast into the seed. I still think you're going to, watch this. I think you're going to lose to the Cowboys. I still think you're probably going to be the number one seed in the NFC. Does it matter then? This is about the marathon. Okay, you're talking about a battle here. They're rested. I hope we're making sense here. I still think you lose that game, which I'm predicting you're going to lose that game against Dallas Sunday. I still think you're the favorite to win home field advantage. Dallas has more losses out of conference. Or, you guys in conference, excuse me, because you lost to the Jets. They have more in-conference losses than you. So you're going to still have the tiebreaker for the NFC East. I think San Francisco drops that football game against the Ravens. Could San Fran drop another one? Maybe. Okay. San Fran's really tough. Yeah, but Sue, they lose one dude for a game. You could lose a game because you don't have Debo or you don't have Trent. That team has shown they're far not the same ball team. Whereas the Eagles, they've proven to you they can win without their second best ball player, Lane Johnson. I don't know, man. Plus, from what I'm hearing, hey, is Slay playing? Have we heard anything about Slay? Is Slay playing? I mean, what was his status yesterday? He did not practice. They rested him. You're resting a guy heading into a stretch run here where you need a game to stay ahead of the pace when it comes to home field? Wow, really? You're resting him because he's tired. Fatigue. Slay was back at practice today, so he should be good. The point is, they're resting guys. You're resting guys because of what I talked about last week. Fatigue. Hey, you have played. When you guys were talking shit saying you're the gauntlet's wearing you out. You know why the gauntlet's wearing you out? What Tone and Rob talked about. No one gives them respect for where you are at 10-2. Do you know the intestinal fortitude? Get this. Guts? You think they're going to man up on Sunday? Shit, that team's been manned up since they lost the Super Bowl in Arizona. That team has put heart and hustle and guts since Arizona. They're not all of a sudden going to man up on Sunday. That team is all manned up. This is about health and player fatigue. The war of attrition. Okay? I'm just saying. LJ goes to Gauntlet has won one game against us. And the game, they murdered you. Get this. So the last two games, you've had to go on to overtime versus a 6-6 team. And against a Niner team, you were killed. How well do you think you've done the last 8 quarters? Good or bad? How do you think? How about this? Let's change that back around. How do you think the team has looked the last 8 quarters? What would you think? If you were the Eagles and you were the analytics guys and the coaches, what would you think about the last 8 quarters? Shit, you got to go back to the Kansas City game too, because that game was 6 days earlier. I'd rest them all practice. We could be in the classroom for 3 days, late practices on Friday. I probably think that's what they're doing. Okay? How about the Cowboys? The Cowboys are playing dog shit teams. You don't have to put – the only team that has played Dallas hard the last month has been Seattle. You guys have been playing – hey, look, man, I don't have to explain Carolina, New York, Seattle versus Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and then Dallas again. I don't have to explain myself. If you can't see the glaring difference between the type of effort you got to put in when you're playing the ladder and you're talking about what Philadelphia has done the last month and a half versus what Dallas has done the last month and a half, once again, you're in here and you're blinded like you were last week because you thought your team was going to play and you were stunned all week and you moaned and cried all week long. And now here you are on a Friday thinking, we're going to go into Dallas and kick the shit out of Dallas. Your defense is not good enough. Actually, since you played them last, you're worse. You're worse. Just look at the run defense. It's not by coincidence. San Francisco runs the ball. Kansas City and Buffalo don't. Devin goes, so we lose then, Sills? Yes, 26-24. Cowboys win Sunday. Yes. Yes. Jalen's never had 2 in a row. Well, guess what? Welcome to the group. You'll be part of that. Never lost 2 in a row. You sound like you're talking about Georgia or you're talking about Michigan, like you're in college here. Snap out of it. This is the NFL. What'd you think? The 3-game losing streak that San Francisco had was only isolated to them? Dallas is not winning by 2 scores. They're not San Francisco. Hey, by the way, if Dak Prescott turns the ball over, Philly wins. Dallas can't turn the ball over. They cannot turn the ball over. You see, you got to remember something about this game. Do I think that the Eagles can go in there and play an A game? No. You're incapable of playing A game football. Why? Why are you incapable of playing an A game against the Cowboys on Sunday? Can you tell me why? It's as glaring as ever. Why can't you play an A game? Because your defense is a D defense. And it's where it is right. You are who you are with that defense. Okay? You're not going to all of a sudden have an A-plus game against a team that is hot. Where in the world do you think you're going to? Now, again, I think you go into that game, and I think you put a C-plus effort up because that's what your maximum is right now. I don't think you can put a B effort up. I think you could put an A effort up on offense. I do. On defense? How in the world do you trust that defense right now? How in the world do you trust that? Hey, we knew eventually this was going to come down to where all of a sudden this thing was going to end up having to pay the bills on this thing here. And you weren't going to be able to get by on that offensive side of the ball, carrying your football team, and Hurts carrying the team. Jalen Hurts, by the way, I have some other breaking news for you. Here's some breaking news. I heard that Jalen Hurts is nursing a absolutely horrific back and a sore back. That's breaking news. He might have structural damage. You know why? Carrying your football team for the 2023 season. This guy has to have a bad back for carrying your football team. That guy's carried your football team the entire year. He's carried your team. How could he not have a back injury? Knee injury? That guy's got a back injury. Carrying you all year. Dude, seriously, there is not a dude in the NFL more valuable to his team than that guy. He's not on your team. That's a 5-win football team. With all your talent, you know who you are? You're the Chargers. Bruce goes, you scared me, asshole. Have we never heard of metaphors before? I hope so. Hey, you guys are like, wait a minute. Oh, Jalen's got a bad back injury? What's got? Yeah, carrying your team. Oh, man. Hey, am I right? This dude's carried your football team all season long. The only reason you're going to have a puncher's shot on Sundays because of him. Let me throw this at you, too. I'm going to revisit one topic here with you. Do you think that the Philadelphia Eagle offense this season, one of the reasons why the football team passing-wise, and maybe he misses a lot of open wideouts, is because they've become too reliant on A.J. Brown, who's been a little quiet over the last couple weeks? Do you think that was the right philosophy? Now, look, he's a superstar player. Okay, he's a superstar player. He makes $20 million. You get him the ball. I'm not saying you don't get him the ball. Tone's back probably hurting too. Okay. Too many excuses for Hurts? How do you have an excuse when you're 10-2? What's the excuse? Jalen Hurts and the Eagles don't need an excuse. You're 10-2. Always remember that. My criticism is about this. You know what? You criticize more when there's less to criticize about when you're talking about great football teams. That's how some of you assholes don't get it. Dude, when you have a bucket of things to complain about with your shitty football team like the Cardinals or the Bears or Carolina or places like that, front office, draft choices, sending commodities away, trading up to get bread. There's a ton of places to go. But when you're 10-2 and you're this close to winning a Super Bowl, you complain more. You know why? Because you're that close and you can feel it and you can taste it. Some of you go like this, we're 10-2. Doesn't it bug you if you don't win a Super Bowl that you were 10-2 again? Doesn't that bug you? Or is it just like this? 2024, we'll be ready for next year. Okay? Some of you guys, you're this close to being great. Here, let's do this here. Let's do this. Who's under more pressure in the NFC right now to win a Super Bowl? 49ers or the Eagles? Whew. Hey, San Francisco guy. Man, the Eagles, not an excuse. It's kind of historic what they're doing. Okay? It's kind of historic what the Eagles are doing. It's really not supposed to happen. But if you're the 49ers, you killed the Cowboys. You killed the Eagles. If you don't win that Super Bowl, hey, Kyle, you know how Tone and me and everyone talk about Nick and that job pilot light? Hey, Kyle, you have the best roster in football. You don't get to the Super Bowl? Don't you start doing this? Well, what else we got to give them? You got a guy who's playing MVP quarterback. You got an MVP running back. You got an all-pro wide receiver talent in Debo. You got another kid who's a Pro Bowler in Ayuk. You got a Pro Bowl tight end in George Kittle. You got a Hall of Fame right tackle in Trent Williams. We went out and paid $20 million for Javon Hargrave. You got two of the best linebackers, probably the best linebacking core in the league. We got you Chase Young. We're paying Bosa $30 million. We lost to Fongo. We went out and our corners are playing great. You tell me. San Francisco doesn't win that. It's more of a disaster for San Francisco. And I think that team, they don't win the Super Bowl. Dude, that's a big-time loss for that organization. Shit, if the Eagles don't win it, you're like this. Did anybody really in their right mind think that a team, and it's documented historically, don't get back to the Super Bowl, let alone get into 10-2? I mean, it's not an excuse. It's history. I think the Eagles are playing with house money. They're playing with house money. That's why no one believes you. No one believes you because you know why? Dude, let me say this to you. You win the Super Bowl this year, people have to start talking dynasty or the foundation of one. Only great teams put great seasons back to back to back to back to back to back, no matter what the schedule says. Shitty teams, good teams, doesn't matter. That's why if you wobble a little bit, Niners and Cowboys, dude, it's not the end of the world. It's just not. Do I think you're going to be more battle tested for the playoffs than the Cowboys? Dude, here's what's going to happen. The Cowboys win on Sunday is going to go to their head like it does every regular season. And they'll drop 2 to Buffalo and Miami. And you'll keep winning ball games. You'll win the way out. And you'll win home field. And you'll do the normal, split with Dallas. It's not a horrible thing. It's not a horrible thing. You're not looking at this as a war versus battles. No shit, everyone wants to win every battle. No American army from World War II to Korea to Vietnam to Desert Shield and Storm has ever won every battle. Well, maybe the ones in Desert Shield and Storm. Okay, get this. You want to know? Hey, I heard that thing. And I'll show you what Sean McDermott praising the Taliban. What an idiot. Dude, right. You know what? It ain't Ken Dorsey. It's that idiot. You want to make an analogy? When it comes to war, America won every battle in Vietnam. Every battle in Vietnam. And we were the ones that pulled out. That's what he should have said. Okay? This is about winning the war. Okay? Not battles. Like George Foreman says, I'm not looking to win rounds. I'm looking to win the fight. Okay? Huh? Eagles are battle tested. Eagles are, hey, could that play a factor on Sunday that the Eagles are more battle? Boy, I'll tell you what, if you're Philly, man, and you're tired, and if Philly gets the Cowboys into a 4-quarter football game, I don't trust Dallas to win that game. I would try. Dallas has to have the lead by 10 points going into the fourth to win it. They have to have the lead because I don't trust their mettle. Shit, the Eagles are down 10. You watch the Cowboys. Don't let them come back into that game. It'll be a 3-point ball game. Somewhere in there. Like that. Because don't let them back in. Devin goes, what if we win? You lock up probably home field, and you send the Cowboys into a 4-game spin. That's what happens. Devin, that's what happens. Remember something. You don't get a medal for beating Dallas. You don't get a bouquet of roses for beating Dallas. It's your job. It's your job to beat Dallas. Hey, Devin, if you beat Dallas, their season could be over. And they could go down to the 7th seed. Miami and Buffalo will beat them if you beat them. If they win, you give them hope. False hope. I do not think Dallas is a Super Bowl team right now until they show me Sunday. If they beat you on Sunday, a wounded team, a tired team, a team that's gone through incredible battles the last month and a half, they better beat you. To me, the pressure's on Dallas Sunday. Nobody's going to look at a 10-3 Eagle team coming off of a Super Bowl playing the amount of games that you've played. Then you know what we're going to get a chance to see? Then we're going to get a chance to see if Dallas can do what you guys did. And some people said 3-2. Most people said if you came out of that stretch 3-2, they'd be okay with that, wouldn't they? I know you want perfection. I get it. But if you come out of that stretch 3-2, let's see if Dallas can duplicate that with Miami and Buffalo on the tail end of your games. I don't believe they can. I believe they can and will beat you Sunday, but I don't believe they're going to do what you guys did over a 5-game stretch. It's going to be more impressive what you guys did as a collective group playing those teams. Going into KC and winning, enormous. Beating Buffalo in overtime, enormous. San Francisco game, no question about it. Beating Dallas, let's not forget that thing. Look, guys, you have played some rough ball, man. And by the way, this is not a shot at your mettle, your character, your heart, your talent. Well, it is on defense. Look, if your defense was better, I'd pick you. Here's what my problem is going into the game. You trust that shitty defense more than you trust the Cowboys right now playing at home? Where you haven't swept them in what? Since 2011? What do you trust more? A defense that can't cover? and has shown they can't cover? Or do you trust the Cowboys at home? I trust if the Cowboys were playing in Philly, I would take you. I trust the Cowboys more at home. Sunday. Dude, it's about circumstances too, sometimes on Sunday. Once again, Seals, are you saying Dallas is better than us? No. I didn't think Cleveland was better than San Francisco. I didn't think Minnesota was better than San Francisco. I didn't think Cincinnati was better than San Francisco. Like, you guys keep bringing up, okay? Hey, DRC, remember this. I still think you're going to be the favorites. Even Dallas has to win. You know, I keep hearing people go, this is a must-win for the Eagles. Really? You think it's a must-win when you're talking about the Cowboys having to run the tape and run through the tape? What's more likely? Here, let's ask you this one. What's more likely to happen? The Eagles losing on Sunday, or the Cowboys, and with the Eagles losing Sunday and still getting home field advantage in the NFC playoffs, or the Cowboys running the tape and beating the Eagles Sunday? What's more likely to happen? What would you put your money on? Pretty simple to me. I'd put my money on Philly. Dude, what's the saving grace about you versus these other teams? Look at those shitty teams you're playing at the end of the year. Fabulous. God, you need to be able to come up for air. Our defense has to be better this week with Shaq and Zach. Jesus, criminy, Dirty D. You're kidding me. You're going to hope for a guy coming off of IR, and you're hoping, what was it? A hamstring. You're hoping a guy comes off. By the way, hamstring injury, fatigue. Dude, the only guy on this injury report is Goddard. Forearm. That's not a fatigue injury. That's shitty luck. Even Stoll, knee. That's not a fatigue injury. That's just an in-play injury and an in-game injury. The rest of these, groins, hamstrings. Groin. Julio Jones, I told you, man, that guy was not going to last a second. He was going to get here, play a couple games, and go on IR. Why? Because his Achilles tendons have been horseshit for 4 years. Why do you think Tampa Bay knew you couldn't play the guy more than 12 games and give him a ton of reps? That was a couple years ago. Julio Jones, his body is failing him, not his ability. Do you understand what happens to NFL guys as they get older? Their ability doesn't leave them. Their body does. Like, you're still the same player, but you can't jump as high. You can't bend over more. You don't have the flexibility. Your hamstrings don't allow you to do some of the things you could do in the past. That's your body falling apart. It's not anything to do with ability. Shaq Leonard, you think Shaq Leonard's going to have any kind of thing left? Again, here's the thing with Shaq. Is Shaq an all-pro linebacker still? Yeah. Does Shaq Leonard have an all-pro body? No. You have to, as a football organization, come to the realization, who is he? What is he? Zach Cunningham, groin injury or hamstring injury, old man injury, a lot of reps. That's you going into a game against, hey, you just came out of a grueling, physically exhausting. What was that stat? Teams that played San Francisco And then the teams that played them and lost going into the next week, I think they're 29-1. Or 1-29, excuse me. That was a physical beating on top of the physical games you played. This is not excuse. This is what the league is. I hear Tone saying it, and he's right. This is a week-to-week deal. The Cowboys are fresh, like the Niners were fresh. Did the Niners not play fresh? They had 10 days. Dude, I'm so happy that Seattle game got flexed to Monday night. It gives them an extra day's rest. That's fantastic, actually. Now, you're lucky you got a shitty team on the back end of that. I think it's Arizona, right? Or one of the New York that's on the tail end of that. I hope it's New York because they've already packed the U-Hauls. David says, I love my Eagles, but facts rule over favoritism. They need that punch in the mouth now. I want to see them respond Sunday night. They're going to respond. I do not look at the Cowboys to give them any kind of like game like San Francisco. They're not that good. They're not as good as San Fran. But hey, you know what maybe this is more this. If Dan had his own TV show, the edit crew would absolutely have their hands full. Yeah, because you know what you'd be doing? You'd be Xing out some of the things that I was saying because I'm right. Hey, Dallas, Seattle, New York, Arizona, New York, last 5. It's New York, fantastic. Seattle Monday night, New York on Sunday. Great. Once you get done with that Seattle game, I want to see San Francisco and Dallas. It's going to be in their hands. Dude, even if you're a game behind, I still think you're going to win home field. Okay? I still think you're going to win home field. Let me say this to you. Why do you think I'm picking Dallas on Sunday? Why do you think Tone said that DeVito's tough? Yeah, because he's Italian. He's a paisan. I hope he's taller than Danny DeVito. That's all I care. Guy rolls around with the getting medals out and all that. I like it, man. He's got a little bit of Soho in him. Tone goes, I never said he was tough. Don't worry, Tone. I know people put words in your mouth, man. I know that. He's a Cuse guy? Oh, that's right. Danny DeVito's a Syracuse dude. That's right, man. Why do you think I'm picking Tommy Cutlets? That's a cute name for him. That's what you guys should do. Tommy Cutlets. I like it. It's a cute name. I said he had an Italian loan shark name. I like it. Hey, DeVito's loan shark. Or no, DeVito bail bondsman. You got it, man. No matter what your crime is, I'm going to send DeVito down. DeVito's bail bonds. That's right, man. Hey, shoplifting, stealing cannolis, whatever it is. DeVito's bail bondsman. How you doing? We never hold you hostage. Loki, fatigue, and shit defense. The Eagles are going to have to show me they can play defense. I've lost confidence. Oh, yeah. Port Authority. Look at you guys dropping out Port Authority. Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you, man, I'm sorry, but I've lost confidence in your defense. How can you guys have confidence in your defense? How can you have confidence? What do you have confidence in your defense on? Name me one thing you're confident on in your defense right now. Here, I'll give it to you. If you guys name one, I'll go like this. Okay, you guys are right. Give me your confidence. Dan, what is your? I'll get to those, Greasy. We'll do week 14 of the NFL a little bit later on. What's your confidence in your defense? Shaq, okay. Hassan, okay. He's your best player, sure. No. Godfrey, I didn't say offense. What's your confidence level with defense? I've lost complete confidence in them. You guys are going to the offensive side. I don't have a problem over there except your play caller stinks. Or your analytics, and I don't know. Maybe it's not even Brian. I don't know what you got going on over there. This looks a little chaotic to me over there on offense. And you know what it is? It's the brain thrusts that are getting in the way of the players. So I don't know what you got going on. You got too many decision makers. I wouldn't want to have 7 different guys telling me how to storm the beaches at Normandy. I'd only want Eisenhower, wouldn't you? You imagine Eisenhower taking 48 guys' different opinions on should they go to Gold or should they go and should they storm this side of the beach or this side of the beach? And Eisenhower, at the end of the day, had to make the final call. So I don't know what you got going on over there. Can you imagine Eisenhower and D-Day? Hey, what do you think? 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 He's like this. We're doing this. Bad weather. I don't give a shit. We're going now. To me, Ike, hey, McDermott, could have used anything, right? Ike storming the beaches at Normandy. Bad weather. They wanted to cancel it. He's like this. We're going. Liberated Europe. Because the guy had a gut feeling. Liberated Europe. Now we're going. Philly, run it. That's I like that. I like those brass balls. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? I want that. Ike, it's too bad of weather. You know? Gold is not the beach to hit. I don't care. We're going. Hey, Sileo, I gave Dallas 31 points versus Philly. That's as biased as I can be. Keep in mind, I got Eagles in overtime, 34-31. That's over the number. 51.5 is the number. Fly, Eagles, fly. David, nice pick, though, man. Okay? Seals, you saw. I did. LJ, I did. I thought, hey, I did. Okay? I don't think your defense is as good as Seattle's defense. I have no confidence in your defense. Dude, Jalen Hurts is the reason you're 10-2. Plain and simple. No other player on your team is more responsible for that record than him. I would say this in Kansas City. I don't know. Would you split it between the defense and Mahomes this year on how they're playing? Would you split it? Kansas City's defense, Mahomes, 50-50, right? 49ers, defense, offense, 50-50. What do you got in Philly? You got 90-10. Hurts and the offense. In spite of the bullshit way that they do business. Look at Dak against these shitty teams. I showed you. Their defenses showed up this year. They don't give a lot of points up. They're 4th in points allowed. They're 5th in passing yards allowed. They're 3rd in passing offense. And get this, you're 1st in points scored, you're the Cowboys. And you're 4th in points allowed, 50-50. You think that average is in Philadelphia? I'm telling you, man. Don't sweat this. Sills picked the Cowboys, and he's saying don't sweat it because there's still ball to be played here. Do I trust the Eagles over the Cowboys down the stretch, even when they lose on Sunday? Yes. You're going to finish 14-3. What is wrong with you? You look at these week-to-week games as end all. I look at the season ending and what have you done as a season. You split with the Cowboys, which is normal. You went 3-2 during that gauntlet. You won home field advantage. You won the East. What have you done different this year than last year when it comes to securing home field? What are you talking about here? Shit, I had us finishing 12-5 before the season started. I will take for it. You're 14-3 with a tougher schedule, with a shittier defense, and coordinators, you're not sure where they're getting their information from. I think this goes back to what Angelo said. You guys are never satisfied with a really good cheesesteak sandwich and a really good pretzel. I'm sorry. No matter if it's the best pretzel, no matter if it's the best cheesesteak, no matter if it's the greatest Chesapeake Bay blue shell crabs, you're never satisfied with the meal. No matter what it is, you guys are never satisfied. Here's you guys. Shit, we won the East. We got home field. We won 14-3, and we split with the Cowboys. Coming off a Super Bowl? Yeah. You're right. There's always a better cheesesteak. We just got to keep looking. Hey, see? It's actually a good attitude. As a matter of fact, man, I made myself a cheesesteak sandwich too because you couldn't find anything in Commie, California that could ever be made like the East Coast or especially someplace in Philly. You put the cheesesteak on there. You put that cheese on there. You get the peppers on there. You get the green peppers, the red peppers. You put the hot. Oh, you never, dude, seafood, restaurants, and cheesesteaks are not to be eaten on the West Coast, and pizza for that matter. And pizza. Don't ever have a pizza in California. It's not good. I'd rather get rigatonis, that frozen pie, than eat anything out of one of these places. Don't matter who cooks. I always got to add a little bit of salt. We're about to sweep the boys. Okay, that's good. All right. I don't have a problem with you thinking, hey, by the way, DRC, two things. Honest to God, here's my two things heading into this ball game. Stop with this comment. Stop it. Will the Eagles step up? How you insult your team when you say that? That's insulting. How are they going to respond after that game against the Niners? I would look at you and go, shut your mouth. How are we going to respond? Really? After 2.5 years, you question their mettle all week long. Many media people. How will they respond? It's an insult. If I was a member of the Eagles and I saw those questions being asked, and I saw a ton of them being asked about the Eagles, and you're 20-4 in the last 2 years, coming off a Super Bowl, and you're where you are, Tone's right, it's remarkable where you are, and you ask, how will you respond? You don't really know me. Arthur goes, and Sills, why are you picking the Cowboys? I trust Dallas at home, not on the road. They had a 10-day rest. You guys have not swept them since 11. They played you right down to the wire in the last game at your place. Dak's playing good ball. And here's the deal. Not that I trust the Cowboys, but I surely have lost faith in your defense. That's why. You need to get on the back end of that schedule to get some rest. You'll be able to coast home after Seattle and go 14-3. Then you'll look back at me and go, damn, he's right. We had the same record as last. So you're telling me you'll have a problem splitting with Dallas and going 28-6 in the regular season in the last 2 years, becoming the first team to win back-to-back NFC East titles since I can't remember when, securing the number 1 overall seed. And what's the complaint again? What's your complaint? Armado's in San Jose? I will. Anthony goes, Sills, 14-3, give us the number 1 seed? Yeah. 14-4, I don't know, because I think San Francisco's going to lose to the Ravens. I think they're going to lose to the Ravens. That's a tough matchup. That's a tough matchup. Okay? I think that's a tough matchup. I do. Niners are not going to beat the Ravens. David, trust me, look, 28-6. And you're complaining, winning 2 NFC East titles and 2 years in a row of home field. When's the last team in the NFC to do that? Win home field advantage 2 years in a row. Green Bay? I think it was Mike Schmidt that said something along the lines of playing in Philly, you got the thrill of victory. And hey, seriously, the last team to win home field 2 years in a row has to be the Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay, LaFleur teams, right? David goes, I'm not complaining. I just hope the Niners. Listen. One more time. You guys insulting your team all week by saying, how will they respond? I have no question how they're going to respond. Why did you? You guys have been lifelong Eagle fans. And every media person, even on our channels, were asking, how will the Eagles respond? That was never a thought in my head, how they would respond. I've seen how they've responded all year. I don't need a 49er ass kicking to convince me that look how fast you guys got knocked off your heels on the conviction of that team off of 4 quarters of ball. I don't get it. So 4 quarters of football shook you that much that it shook your confidence in them. When it came to character, I'm stunned, actually. Dude, I've heard a ton of people, IP, Fanatic, our channel, columnist, all doing it. How will they respond after that? It's the most insulting question you can ask. Because if you're not sold by them now and you think 4 quarters of football and having an awful day is an indictment on Hurts and the character, you're like every goddamn guy out there that doesn't believe in Jalen Hurts. How'd you lose? How'd you get rattled that much? Just listening to people talking all week, they got rattled. I've never seen an Eagle Cowboy week so downplayed in my life because you got kicked in the nuts. That's right, William. Really, 3 quarters of football. You lost your faith in a team in 3 quarters. Really? I never questioned their mettle. I questioned all the hard games they played, their health, the rest, the gauntlet of teams you played on. I've never said anything. You know what's funny? You guys think I ripped them, and I've never lost confidence in them. You have. Bottom of the NFC stinks. One seed less significant in 23. It's a good point. But I think a team like Philly, who's played such tough games this year, dude, you got the toughest schedule in the league. I mean, you might want to rest. San Francisco didn't have the gauntlet of teams that you played this year that they played. Okay? How in the world do you lose confidence in 3 quarters on a team that is 20-4 at the same point last year? I don't know. It has to be because some people haven't played or they don't have faith. How'd you get here? Man, you guys in Philly lose a lot of faith quick. You're quick to react and you're quick to lose faith. That's why you went differently on Hurts when he was drafted to where you are now. And when Wentz was this guy and then he became that guy, you flipped overnight. I've never flipped on your team. I've given you all the reasons why I think you'll lose Dallas. Yours is confidence. Mine is who you played, the defense. You're the ones that have lost confidence. How will they respond? That wouldn't be my first question. My first question would be, how's the health of the team? What's the practice schedule like? Okay. Does Dallas open up opportunities because what's their number? What is Dallas when it comes to rushing? They're 12th in rushing against. Is there an opportunity maybe to run the ball more here? How's the health of Goddard? Because he'll help on the edge with Dexter Lawrence. How's Slay's health? How has Shaq Leonard come along in his studying? You know, they kept him off the practice field one day because they wanted him in the classroom so he could get caught up to speed. Okay. Tank goes, you still have the Cowboys and Bills in the Super Bowl? I'm not wavering off that because they haven't been eliminated. Why would I? I'm not going to lie. I lost a little confidence after Frank responded to your text. Dirty D. I know, man. Seth and I were talking again about it last night. Yeah, I know. I don't think you have the coaches to fight back on analytics. And sometimes, what was that one time when Tone said something to me? Hey, man, you remember when Jalen went off the field and Nick said some comment to him? This is why we pay you and have confidence in you or something like that. And Jalen looked at him and said, you should always have confidence in me. I'm paraphrasing here. It's because Nick doesn't have confidence in the intel he's getting with the analytic guys. All these little tea leaf things now make a ton of sense. How many times have we seen conservative plays being called in critical moments because the analytic guys say that that's not percentage-wise going to work? And they go conservative. I thought they went conservative in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. It just makes sense. Okay? Dude, trust is faith. Blind faith. Chris, I tell people this all the time. When you're an NFL player, college player, any kind of sports guy, and you have a coach, and I've told some of the people the story and I've told a ton of people this story. Miami was playing Notre Dame, and somebody asked me to get up there and say something. I said something on a Zoom, and I went, how many people in here believe in God? Everybody put their hand up. Most everybody put their hand up and said, I believe in God. I go, how do you know he's real? I have faith. I go, so you have blind faith that Jesus Christ is on, and I do too. I believe too, that blind faith, I have faith in God. Your coach, there's the same kind of metal to that. You have to have blind faith that your coach is going to put you in a position to succeed when you haven't seen him succeed and you've never seen him perform. But you have to have blind faith in that. And you've got to have the same mental fortitude to apply that as you do anything you have strong conviction in. And if you don't, you're never going to succeed at it. Okay? You've got to have a mental makeup as an athlete that when you believe in something, you're all in. Teams that aren't all in, those are the teams that don't succeed. I think it's simple. I don't think it's complicated. People complicate it. Okay? That wouldn't shock me if Frank Reich meets with ownership in Buffalo to become the offensive coordinator up there for Josh Allen. Kind of the word being thrown around. Frank Reich back to Buffalo as the OC. So just something to keep out there and keep focused on there too. So just something to keep it there. Okay. 3:30, my friend Tone, the segment's going to join us. Don't forget, Saturday, our great friends at Hooters have us coming into town. We will be there from 3:30 to 5:30. I hope many of you show up. I'm so looking forward to seeing some of you. All of you, actually. Yeah, even you, Keon. Okay? Even you, Keon. Okay? So come on out. I hope all of you can make it out there. There's going to be Eagle tickets to give away. We're going to have Eagle jerseys also that we're going to be giving away. We're going to have merchandise. There's a whole ton of stuff that we're giving away here. Hooter specials going on. Lunch specials too, man. Monday through Friday, 11:30, 3 p.m. Seafood Sundays. Half price snow crabs, buffalo shrimp. Gotta love all the great specials that they have, especially during this time. Santa bonus bucks. Gotta love them. $5. They're gift cards. They're great stocking stuffers. Go to Hooters.com. The calendars are out too. 9 of the girls are featured from the Northeast section, from Rhode Island through Jersey down to King of Prussia. Really awesome. So don't forget, 3:30 to 5:30 tomorrow. We will be out there. I'm leaving the Dan Cave. We'll be out there with a bunch of stuff. So we look forward to seeing you. I think we're doing an hour show out there on Saturday too, if I'm not mistaken. Tone will join us at 3:30. We'll talk more birds as we get ready for a football Sunday, a big football Sunday. And we'll explain again why we're taking the Cowboys on Sunday over the birds. We'll do that next. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.